Welcome back to the Final Shot Podcast. Today, my guest is undefeated Canadian boxer Jessie Wilcox. How's it going, brother?
Good, man. You?
I'm fantastic. You have got a massive fight coming up. What's the date? It's September
11th.
September 11th.
Oh, today's.
No, September 11th.
What's that?
September 11th.
Yeah, the fight's September 11th.
Okay. So September 11th against a fellow Canadian and stablemate, Brandon Brewer.
Yes, sir.
You excited for this one?
Yeah, I'm very excited. When they actually offered it to me, like, would I be interested in it? I didn't even, like, it was kind of through a text with my dad and my coach and the promoters, and I didn't even get time to answer. By the time I looked at it, my dad said yes.
It's kind of a no-brainer fight for you guys. You guys are both big names in the Canadian scene. Brandon's fought on the international scene once on DAZN, so it's a fantastic fight.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the thing. Like, I've had lots of experience in the amateurs, and I know it's not professional, but I've gotten in with guys with lots of experience, and I've always came out on top, minus the draw I had, but it's not a lot. So,
well, a lot of guys say that amateur fights don't count when you hit the professional ranks, but they do. Like, you get experience.
I really don't agree with that. Reason being is I find after like 50 fights as an amateur, you don't get like that. Your boxing skills won't get much better. Like, you've created good habits from those 50 fights. You've created some bad habits from those 50 fights. But after those 50 fights, and after you get a good amateur background, you start learning about yourself as you're a fighter, right? So you get to 60, 70 fights. You start figuring out what you want to eat. You start figuring out what you fight sick, and you still come out on top. Yeah, I remember I went to one tournament and I had a whooping cough and pneumonia, and I was on the national team and I had to go. So I get there. I didn't have to lose a single pound because I had been sick. It was so bad. Like, if I coughed, I was puking. And I remember getting to the fight, and my dad was at home. It was in Saskatchewan. He goes, "Listen, you get to the center of the ring and just hurt him right away. Just throw those punches and hurt him." And I did that, and I hurt him real bad. I ended up winning the fight like 14-3 or something, and it was against Team Italy. Mm-hmm. But after that fight happened, anytime I wasn't feeling like 100% before a fight, I knew in my head, like, I've fought worse. I've fought in a worse condition. Even cutting weight, sometimes you get those really bad weight cuts, and you just think in your head, I'm not doing that again. So yeah, you as far as like what you're fighting is different, because now you're going into longer rounds. But the idea of what you have to accomplish, and which is winning, I think it's very much means a lot. Like, having a good amateur pedigree, putting yourself with the best of the best, because we all know you could fight guys your first 10 pro fights and they have done nothing. Yeah. They're garbage. In an amateur tournament, you're at that tournament, you're fighting the best in that tournament. You go international, you're fighting the best in the world. You now have that competition of being in there with the best, and just having that in your head makes you a better fighter.
Amateur boxing and professional boxing, they're two different sports, but the premise is the same. Show
Exactly.
up, get punched in the face, punch people in the face, and win the fight. Different kind of rule set and different pace, different round times. Sometimes it all depends on what level you are at in amateur sports. but I hate amateur boxing. If I'm honest with you, just
Yeah.
just dealing as a coach when I was dealing with kids and taking them to amateur tournaments, they're stupid.
No, locally, like honestly, man, like the Canada scene, I am. It is not good. It is not fair. You know, especially when they're kids and you get those losses, and it's heartbreaking to
Yeah,
see that, especially as a coach. You know, as a fighter, you know what they're going through,
yeah,
but the experiences those kids will get, and it'll make their lives for the better. And if they go professional, they're gonna have that grinding mentality. They already know, they already have it in their head, like, this is what I want to do, and I want to be national champ, or whatever their goal is before they go pro. If they accomplish that, then that gives them a mental edge. So I personally do not like the boxing in the Canada scene, but my dad took us to Buffalo. We went Rochester. We went all over the states. I went international with the Team Canada. So, and then when you get like to that kind of stages of the game, then you notice the difference, and then you notice how like amateur and professional has a lot more similarities
yeah.
in that aspect. So
Earlier on, you mentioned Saskatchewan. Are you from Saskatchewan?
no, I fought there
Okay.
twice. Fought there twice.
We do. I'm in Saskatchewan right now. It's where I live. So like we do
Oh,
have
okay.
we have a lot of amateur boxing that goes on like under the radar.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
It's like super low
I went.
key.
I fought in the Ken Goff tournament.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
It's a good
yeah,
tournament. But hey, now you're on to
yeah.
professional stuff. You've had 17 professional fights, undefeated. You got 2 draws on there, which I don't know. I didn't see the fights. I don't know what it's about.
Well, the, Ontario has a really dumb rule. If you get headbutt and you can't continue, then you
Oh,
have to do. Then it goes to an automatic draw.
okay. That's a
Which,
that's a
I
dumb rule.
mean, I had dropped a guy. I remember that fight happening, and the ref. I never had those rules. It was like my seventh, or it was up there for fight numbers, like maybe seventh or eighth. And I remember the ref explaining to me all those rules. And I thought in my head, I'm like, I have never heard these rules in my entire professional career. This guy's going to headbutt me as soon as I start winning. No joke. I hurt him in the second or third round. I hurt him. I dropped him. They didn't count it as a knockdown, but it was like, when you hit them clean, and you can see that I hit him with that punch, and he was on the ground. And when he got up, the buzzer went. The next round, I got hit with a insane headbutt, like my eye, 40 stitches, and
Wow.
so there was no continuing. But if it should have went to a no contest in my eyes. Like that would have been more appropriate. But
So the
I
two
think they're trying to get rid of that rule.
the 2 draws are suspect then, obviously.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this fight with Brandon, what weight class is it going to be contested at?
160. So I'm moving up this time.
Because you're a tall dude. You're 6'1".
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I'm actually more like 6'2", but
Really?
yeah,
So 6'2", and you're moving up a weight class to fight this fight.
yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I fought 147 to now 160 after this.
Jesus. What's your reach?
76 inches, I think.
Okay, so
I don't know. I don't know, actually. It's just long. It's long, man.
being 6'1" and fighting at from 147 up in those weight classes, you got to be super long.
Oh yeah, yeah. I got really long limbs.
Okay.
Like my torso is a little shorter, but I got like long legs and long arms.
Well, I've been doing this podcast, I don't even know how long, since 2014. I've always seen your name pop up, and I'm like, I should probably get this motherfucker on the show.
Yeah.
I just never sent you a message, and then I posted something about you, and you came right back at me. I was like, let's do it.
Yeah.
And no better fight than this one.
No, this fight's like on paper is a great fight. I look at it as a good opportunity for me to take that next step to a big fight, and I don't think Brandon's going to be the hardest guy I fought, but I think his experience as a professional is going to be up there for one of the toughest guys I fought.
Brandon's real tough. I haven't had a lot of personal interaction with him, but anytime I've ever talked to him, he's always been a gentleman and super nice. But
yeah, he's a very nice guy.
And I was going to ask you, what's your thoughts on Brandon Brewer?
On Brandon as a person, I have zero problems. I always we've been in the same room warming up,
yeah.
And I even when I was down East Coast when my brother was professional, I wasn't even professional. I remember talking to him and thinking, "Oh, this guy's a really nice guy. Who is he?" And I think he was on his second fight or whatever. But we were fighting in New Brunswick.
Mm-hmm.
It was my brother's fight. I wasn't, but my brother was fighting New Brunswick, and he was there, and he just seemed like a really nice guy. And then kind of asked about him, and he was like, "Yeah." Everyone was like, "Yeah, he's a professional fighter and locally in Fredericton." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So we after the fight, we all hung out. I have no problems with him as a person. Very good guy. Very good person.
Strictly business. Walk to the ring. You guys are going to punch each other in the face and shake hands.
Strictly business. Obviously I can't really like him too much right now, but that's part of the game. It's not fake. It's just that if I think that he's a good person, or if I think I don't want to hit this guy that hard or whatever, then I'm not going to be fighting to my full extent. And believe me, a few times I've fought friends I didn't want to, but we just did.
Yeah.
But me and Brandon were not like that. I just see him as he's a good human being. So, you know what I mean? I know he does good for his community and stuff. So
super nice guy. But
I respect that. Yeah.
When fans sit down and they look at this fight on paper and they're like, okay, these guys are signed to the same promoter. They're going to fight. It's a fun fight for the fans because they can get into it oh, shit, one guy's going to come out better than the other. It's a fun fight just because this normally doesn't happen.
No, not around here. It's you know what? For me, it's they were offering me other guys that, I trained with a lot. And I'm like, to me, that just doesn't the same coaching. We were with the same coach, and I was like, I don't want to do I see my coach as another father.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm not doing that. And my coach was like, well, then Brewer. And to me, I'm like, 100%. What weight? I'm like, I didn't even care. I'm like, yeah, let's do that. You guys need local fight. Is a good fight for everybody. The fans, it's down east, so he's gonna have a lot of his people there.
Yeah.
I got a lot of people at home watching, or I got a lot of people coming as well. And it's gonna be a good fight, no doubt about it.
100%. There's no way it's not a good fight. If it is, somebody broke their leg.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody slipped on a banana peel on the way to the ring. That's the only way it won't be a good fight. Brandon always comes to throw bombs. I've gone through a lot of tape over you the last couple of days after we decided we were going to do this. You don't fuck around.
No.
Neither does your brother.
Which one?
What the fuck is his name? The other one that boxes. He accidentally came up in I don't know. I can't remember.
Steven?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. You thought I was Steven?
No, he just came up in a fight. I was like, oh, fuck, this guy's pretty good.
Yeah. There's 5 of us that fight.
All of you fight.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's the age range of all you brothers then?
So I had an oldest brother pass away from cancer.
Condolences.
He would have been 30. He would have been 31 or 32. Sorry, 32. Then my brother Steven is 30. I'm 29. My other brother's 27, and then 25, and then 21, and then my sister is 15.
Does she fight?
No,
No.
no, she's seen everybody cutting weight and
Yeah.
training all the time. But when she was younger, she liked it. She, like 5 or 6, she was boxing all the time. She was at the fights every day. Every time we were at the gym, she'd come by,
Dude,
watch
fun.
us train, and then she got to like 12, 13, and she was like, "Fuck that! I'm not getting punched in the face."
So you guys must get into some gym wars then, at least brothers, competitive brothers. You guys must kill each other.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Me and Steven, when we were younger, was bad. Like, it was scary. Like, for people, like friends watching on the outside, they were like, "Man, this is fucked." Then we would go to the gym, and I kid you not, every single time we were at the gym and we had fought during the day, we had gotten a little scruffle at home. We go to the gym. My dad would know that we fought at home because he'd be at work. But when the way we sparred was just take each other's head off.
Really?
And my dad would know, and all the people there watching would be like, "Well, what happened today?"
So what's your brother Steven's record? He has a professional record?
Yeah, I think he's 23 and 3.
Okay, so he's had a fuckload of fights then.
Yeah, he's had a lot of fights.
Because the first thing that went through my mind when I seen your brother, I was like, "Oh, these two guys are kind of like the Diaz brothers in MMA."
Yeah. Yeah, except for these other ones too.
I didn't know that you had a whole gang of brothers. That's cool.
Yeah, my brother Brad's 9-0 as a pro.
Okay.
And then my brother Sheldon had a little bit of injuries.
Yeah.
He had a bad concussion, bad shoulder, bad rib. So his boxing career, he had fought maybe 60, 70 amateur fights, but all the injuries and stuff, it definitely put a hold on his training. And then my youngest brother is 21, and he's on the national team for amateur boxing.
Wow.
And he's beat some very good guys. He's done very good internationally. He'll be really good. He went to the Junior Olympics.
Okay. So
the World Championships.
Just a warning to anybody in Ontario: you guys run into a Wilcox brother, don't fuck around because there's 5 of them.
All my friends growing up used to they would do that for me. People try and fight you or just get in your face or whatever, and be like, "Hey, don't fight him. He's a Wilcox."
No, there's fucking 20 of them, so just leave them alone.
Yeah.
Well, what part of Ontario are you from then?
Hamilton.
Okay, I'm originally from Peterborough, Ontario, so not terribly far from Hamilton.
No. I've been there a few times.
Old bar fight.
Actually, my brothers fought there.
Okay.
On the Cody Crowley card.
Yeah, home of the crippler Cody Crowley, who's going to be fighting for an interim world title here coming up.
Yeah, I seen that. That's good for him.
Good for him. But he took the hard road. He went over to Vegas, became an American citizen pretty much. And
yeah.
Did it that way. But good for him.
No, he did he's doing well.
Yeah. So
good to see.
In my internet search on you, I came up and I seen something called the Left Hook Podcast.
Oh yeah, I started a podcast with a buddy, but then he got married and has kids, and it all happened too quick for him, so we had to stop that.
I tuned into it, man. It was funny. I got a kick out of it.
Yeah, we had a good time. I had a good time, especially during the pandemic.
Yeah.
I had a friend who was pretty good with the computers and stuff.
Yeah.
He does all the fight promotions for us. And he was like, "Hey, let's do this." He's like, "I'm bored, man. All I want to do is videotape." I'm like, "All right, I'll do it." And then my buddy's like, "Yeah, we'll do it." And then life got in the way.
Because I seen it and I was like, "Oh, this is great." There's a guy that's got a good professional record. He's out there talking about boxing because there's not a lot of Canadians that are out there talking about boxing.
No.
I was the only one doing it for a couple of years, and then some other guys got into it. Then they fizzled
Yeah.
off. So basically, it's me and Manny Montreal in Quebec that are leading the charge here, trying to get this shit going.
Yeah. Yeah. The guys. I just did one with the guys at the Weigh In podcast.
I've seen it, never listened to it.
It's not bad. They do really good. They do a good job.
Where are they from?
They're good guys.
Are they American?
Toronto.
Oh, they're
They're
in Toronto.
Toronto areas.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen them on my post every once in a while. They tune in. So I don't know. Maybe they'll hit me up one day. We'll do a crossover thing or some shit.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
I've never listened to their show, so I don't know how they roll. But I cuss and I say all kinds of weird shit. So I don't know how they get down, if they're serious or not.
No, they're good. They're good. They do a good job.
The other one that was really good was Jason Tufex's podcast, The Great Fight North. That one was.
Oh yeah.
They were doing really good.
I had a couple buddies on that on that show.
And then they fell off. Something happened. I don't know if Jason died or got shot. I don't know what the fuck happened to him, but he's gone.
I don't know.
But we did a crossover show. It was real fun. But I'm hoping.
Oh yeah.
I'm hoping that more guys get into it, and I hope that you go back and you do you find some other guy that's not married, doesn't have kids.
No, I will. I'll replace him.
It was a fun listen, man. Or you just tell that guy, listen, I'm married, I have 2 kids, and I still do this shit. So there's no reason you can't.
I'll give him a beat down.
Yeah, he had a couple good one-liners in there that cracked me up a few times. So
yeah.
But hopefully you get back into it. I like the set too in the ring.
Yeah, that was fun. Like the gym was kind of shut down, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what it was like out there in Saskatchewan, but here it was like you have a boxing gym, you can't do nothing with it. Like,
well, I'll tell you what I did. I ran away from COVID. So COVID hit. I bought a house in the middle of nowhere. So I didn't even know what the hell was going on. I drive in from the
that's
country,
awesome.
I go to work and then I go home to the country, and I don't have to worry about shit.
You wanna know what happened to me?
Yeah, I do.
When COVID happened, I want to do that now. Like it's just changed my. Like I used to love the city. I used to love all that stuff. Now when nobody knows what you're doing, you just stay away from everybody. I like that. I love that idea.
So everybody always asks me, because I've been involved in combat sports I'm almost 40 years old now, so I've been doing combat sports, whether it be kickboxing, MMA, boxing, since I was 17 years old. So training's always been a part of my life. Like, what do you do when you're 150 kilometers away from a friggin' gym? I built one.
Yeah.
Like,
that's awesome.
Like, if I want to spar somebody, I'll invite them over for fucking a beer and dinner, and we'll beat the shit out of each other and then have supper.
Yeah. What's his name? Who is it? Brock Lesnar.
He does not live too far from me, actually. Only about 3 hours down the road.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just his gym is his big ass farm. That looks sick. Like,
dude, I've been there. It's a fucking compound.
Really, eh?
So I'm not going to give away his location, but you drive down. He lives in the middle of nowhere. So my wife's aunt and uncle are actually his neighbors.
No way.
Yeah. So you drive down the road and then you see 12-foot high fences. All around his property is all fenced off. And then you can't see the house, but you can see another compound. And that's his gym. It's huge.
That's sick.
But he's a bad motherfucker and he's rich. So he can just
he can
just do whatever he wants. If he wants,
makes a huge. Yeah, no, that's genius. Like,
if he wants to fly Frank Mir in for training for a weekend, it's no skin off his ass. He can fly the best guys in the world in. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, for real.
And they got their own place to stay. They got a freaking chef that brings them their meals. It's insane.
That was the thing. Like when we were on the national team, we went down to England, and we got to see how they did their training. These guys are getting paid like 80,000 euros a year to be on the UK team, and like they didn't have to pay for anything. They were living in the camp. Like it was insane, and it's like no wonder they're getting gold medals. But yeah,
best training in the world.
What's that?
It's the best training in the world.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like
But
Crazy.
it's pretty hard not to win gold when that's all you do. And then the other kids that are coming in, they got to go to school or they got a part-time job or they got to deal with
Yeah.
mom yelling at them about not
Like,
cleaning up.
who was it? I'm drawing a blank. Billy Joe Saunders was there. That was when we went. It was the year he was going to the Olympics, and he was there
Okay.
training.
Wow.
Like he ended up being like a great professional too. But
Okay. Let's get into a hot button topic here because I've been fucking talking shit about this guy forever. A guy named Jake Paul.
oh fuck,
Okay. So Jake Paul, this is why I bring it up because you're a veteran of the sport and you know how much guys are getting paid to do this
yeah,
sport at let's say 20-0 or 15-0. You guys are making fuck all. So we got guys that come into the sport like Jake Paul or Logan Paul. They throw a pay-per-view on, they get paid $20 million. But they're yelling at promoters like one of the greatest promoters of all time, Dana White, who literally built a company to say pay your fighters more. Dude, you got to look at these guys like
yeah.
everybody's not Tyson Fury. They're not making $75 million to fight.
No shit. Yeah, no, they don't understand. They don't understand it. They're good businessmen and they're good YouTubers, and they've done that, but they don't know. They just think they know the sport. They don't know nothing about it. They
Exactly.
know the training, and they don't even know half of the training. They know what they've learned in 2 years or whatever it's been, but they don't know. They don't know anything about the hard shit about boxing. Like when you're coming up from like no money, like paying for your own training. They don't know none of that. They're not.
Nothing.
They're everyone's like, oh, it's good for. I don't think it's good for the sport. I think it's just, even now, I see some kids come to the gym, and like they got their hands down, and they're like, oh, I'm like, bro, fuck, do you learn that from? Jake Paul.
Stop it.
Like they don't know. Like
So if Jake
it's getting interest for kids, yeah, that have never thought about the sport,
yeah.
but it's giving them the wrong idea about the sport.
So I'll break it down a little bit for Jake Paul because he's jumping in right away to 8 round fights. Though a normal guy making a pro debut is a 4 round fight. You get paid
Yeah,
in between $600 and $1,000 if you're lucky for that fight. Now you're
yeah,
gonna do probably 6 4 round fights before you graduate to a 6 round fight. You're gonna do a bunch of those. Then you're gonna graduate to an 8 round fight. But you're not making over $2,000.
no, no,
Not a chance.
no, no.
So
Unless you're a Olympic champion coming off of the Olympics, and you know you're getting a bonus for your fight.
yeah.
You're getting a big signing bonus. Even like they're not getting paid 20 million like that off their first couple fights. Like
Like
it's crazy.
so when you're a Canadian boxer and you get paid $50,000, that's big money here.
That's good money. Yeah,
Big money. Like if somebody called me up and say, "Hey Tanner, you want to take a fight for 10 grand?" I'm in.
yeah,
I'm in. Sign me up. 10 grand's a lot of money.
yeah, yeah. No, for sure.
So
Not for them though. It's like 10 grand is what they spend probably on getting their food made
oh
a
exactly.
week.
But we got guys like you, Ryan Rizicki, Ryan Ford, Steve Claggett, Adam Braidwood, Simon Keene. All these guys, fantastic boxers, have made names for themselves in Canada. We can't get paid here.
No,
So that's the reality of boxing is
no. Like, I'm working. I work full time. Like I would. I know. Like today, yesterday I worked all night. I woke up today at 12, and I was at the gym at 12 because if I didn't get up to go to the gym at 12, I wasn't going. I was just gonna sleep the whole day away, and then I would have only got my one workout in. So
right. Like there's not a lot of guys in Canada that are blessed that don't have to go to a job.
no, exactly. And that and like it used to be something like I thought you had to do. Like I thought you had to not work. I had that idea that like you can't work and be champion. But I disagree with that now. Now that I've kind of learned, if you want it, you'll get it. If you got to work, you got to work.
100%.
But you get the same. Obviously, things are easier, but you ain't gonna live easy if you don't have no money. So
No, you're not eating right either. Like,
yeah, exactly. So
instead of fighting at 160, you might be fighting at 178 or 176 or something like that.
exactly.
But I think there's a level of boredom too that comes with not having to work. You know what I mean? Like, so let's say your normal gym schedule is 2 a days. You're bored, you might go for a run or you might overtrain.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
overtraining's a killer.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I always thought like like when I was younger, when I was amateur, I didn't work. I didn't want to go to school. I wanted to go to the Olympics, and I was putting in honestly 100K a month, like of running, like easily 100K. And my legs were getting like I was getting shin splints, but that was just the running. Like that was the sprints, everything. Like I was overrunning for sure.
Jesus.
But I just thought, hey, it's another workout. I'm training 3 times a day. Like, but I didn't have that knowledge. Everybody was kind of learning. Like even my dad, he had 10 fights as an amateur, just young when he was a kid. So my older brother, we had just the very like us two were learning. Now you see my brother Spence, and he's injured. Don't train.
Yeah,
he knows. He's learned off of us his 4 older brothers, and his dad, kind of like learning ourselves. And now that I'm older and as a professional, I felt like I definitely trained less as a professional, but I trained way smarter.
yeah.
Like
There's science.
I just overtrained as an amateur. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, training smart. There's a science behind it too. Like when you see a lot
Exactly.
of
Yeah.
the best combat sports athletes on the planet, they're not making their schedule. They've got guys telling them exactly what they need to do at this hour, at this time of the day.
Exactly.
So there's no overtraining going on.
Exactly. Yeah. It's the science. It's this. I was looking for that. It's the science behind it. It's just training proper.
Yeah.
And I've gone to do my strength and conditioning, and my coach has been like, "Who's the kinesiologist and whatever," and I just he's a professional MMA fighter, and I'm just like trying to lift, and he's like, "You sore today?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, I had terrible sleep. I just feel like garbage." Stop.
Go home.
I'm like, "No, man, I want to train. I came here." He's like, "No, we're not training."
Yeah.
He's like, "This is when injuries happen." He's like, "Just go home and rest. Don't go out. Don't do that stuff." He's like, "Just go home, relax." It's like, "We'll reschedule."
And that's what should be happening. There's no reason for guys to be beating the shit out of. Like, you tell me you're putting 100 kilometers in a month running. The first question I have for you is, how are your knees?
Oh yeah, they were bad. Like my shin. Like I was 19 years old, and like I felt like you could do whatever. You could just keep training all day. Like I didn't get tired. I didn't know. And then I had like severe shin splints. And then I when I was actually at one of the tournaments, one of the older coaches kind of talked to me. He's like, it was in Venezuela, and he was like, "Why do you run so much?" And I didn't have an answer. I just said, "Well, everybody runs in boxing." He's like, "You don't need to run that much." He's like, "You'll find other ways. You're in good shape. Like my cardio is very good. It's never been a problem for me." He's like, "Stop running so much." The next tournament I went to, I didn't run as much. I did the different kind of conditioning.
Yeah.
Felt it like I was in way better shape. Just a little bit of advice from like I never have a coach tell me something that isn't my coach
Yeah.
and say, well, he's not my coach, I'm not listening. You know, you can be a beginner coach, but if you have an input, you know, listen to it. Open your mind. That's how you become a good fighter, I think.
I've
I
always
truly
believed
believe that.
I always believe that you can learn something from anybody, whether it's that person's first day in the gym or they've been in the gym for 30 years. There's always something
Yeah.
you can pick and choose what you want to take from somebody, and it's always a good thing to have an open mind when it comes to this kind of stuff because that person's gonna throw something at you that you've never seen before, guaranteed.
No. Yep. Yep. It's very it's for like the young people watching, it's like I always tell them, like my dad, when my dad was having me, my brother, like when we were growing up, we went to other gyms. Like my dad did not just keep us at our gym. We went and trained with Chris Johnson for a month. We went down to Cuba for a month. Like we went and trained with Billy Irwin, just all these guys that, just have they're all different fighters, but you take a little bit from one of them, one thing, and it could be that second in a fight, you see that opportunity, you take it.
Yeah.
What say Billy Irwin taught me the left hook to the body. I might not have been able to set it up all right like that. The guy bites the setup and I take it, and it's just that one thing that can make a difference every time. Like they say that what's that one football speech? Every inch counts.
Yeah.
I think it was Al Pacino.
Yeah.
If you listen to that, like that's like boxing. Like every little bit of knowledge you have can make a difference. It doesn't have to be in every fight, but everything you learn you might only use it in one fight you have, but it could be the difference.
That speech that Al Pacino did, that's from Any Given Sunday. If you want to transfer that speech over the boxing, it should be every millimeter counts because it's a game of like millimeters.
Yep, slipping the punch.
Yep.
Being able to make that counter.
Exactly.
It's definitely a sport where you have to have an open mind. You can't be closed-minded and stubborn. My coach says do this. My coach did this. Your coach isn't wrong. Like 90% of the time, your coach is in a sport where you have your hands, your feet to move, and your head work. You have to figure out the millions of ways of using it.
Yeah.
In MMA, you have take them to the ground if you're tired. You elbow him in the face if it's there. Like now you're taking 500 different ways of doing it, and and you see their sport growing too. Like they're starting to, have a million different ways to do that same jiu-jitsu move. Like, like they're a much younger sport than us, and they're starting. You could see like guys that would just come in and be able to box used to dominate the sport in MMA. And now, guys that are really good boxers are running into guys taking them down like Khabib and just, outworking everybody. Like
being able to watch a sport like MMA evolve is fun because everybody that's watching MMA has already seen Ken Shamrock, and then we've seen the evolution to Chuck Liddell. And then we've seen the evolution to George St. Pierre. And then the evolution from George St. Pierre to Conor McGregor to Khabib. And these steps that have been taken, it's insane.
And you see every fighter is like, every one of those fighters dominates in more than one thing. Like Conor McGregor was a really good kicker and, really good boxer. But it's and then he gets dominated by Khabib, who is a very good striker, but an even better wrestler. Like
it's insane. So
it's crazy. Yeah. No, I'm not saying I'm like a religious MMA fighter, or viewer.
Yeah.
But I do have a lot of respect for the sport because they're getting in the cage and they're putting their face, their body on the line for entertainment or for it's for a dream to be champion. Like
Yeah.
it's you share a lot with those guys. With every combat sport shares a lot of
It's just
love
a
for each other. So
it's just a different genre of combat. That's all it is. Boxing, judo, sambo, jiu-jitsu. It's all the same premise. Win.
yeah,
Like you got to win, and it's all physical, and it's all somebody can fuck you up. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
yeah, I did it all. I did Muay Thai a little bit.
Yeah.
I did judo for a little while. I did wrestling in high school for a year. I had dreams to do MMA, but boxing I just felt way more at home, and
That's where you like to be, is in the ring.
yeah, that's where I like to be.
So I posted that you were coming on the show. Right away, I had a question. Have you done any rounds with Josh the Boss Wagner?
That's my sparring partner. This
And
this
they want to know, is Josh the best sparring partner?
For this fight, I've been sparring him and Ryan Young. Like Ryan Young, I started out with him when I was coming back. Like I was very rusty at the beginning stages of this camp. It just, I had sparred my younger brother out and another guy at our gym, and that's basically all I had for the whole pandemic. Was we were just kind of going through the motions, like nothing like that. But when I first came back, it was like me and Ryan Young, and then another guy, and then I went to Josh Wagner, and he has a fight with the tall guy coming up.
Yep.
And he's got 2 weeks left of sparring in his camp. So he's like, man, I feel like you're the best guy for who I'm fighting. And I'm like, honestly, he's probably the best guy for who I'm fighting, because I don't necessarily think, I don't know how hard Brewer hits. I don't know. But from what I heard, I hear he's just like a very physically strong guy.
Yep.
Wags is a very physically strong guy, but he's got a higher output in punching. So the first couple rounds, it was like, it was rough for me because I didn't have that. It was almost like that. I still had cardio, like full cardio, the 6 rounds, no problem. But it was that wear on your body when you're getting punched in the arms, like that lactic acid that builds up. That's where I was like, okay, I got to get used to this. So we've done 2 now. I'm going with him again Friday.
Okay.
And, it's getting better and better for both of us. Yeah, he's coming to the end of his camp, and I'm kind of but when he's at the end, I'll be at like midpoint.
Yep.
So it's actually like probably the best sparring. And then when he's finished his fight, I'm probably going to go back to Ryan Young and get that nice, strong, physical sparring that I think would be good for Brewer in that sense. So
for all of you Josh Wagner fans that have been blowing me up to get him on the fucking podcast, he's on Thursday, so stop fucking getting in my inbox. We'll have him on. Don't worry. We'll talk to Wagner.
Yeah. No, me and Josh fought in the amateurs. We're 1-1.
Okay.
But he's one of those guys. He's one of those guys that, and I told him, I said, bro, when you're on, you're on. Like mentally, he can beat. I seen, Arthur. I forget. I don't know how to say his last name. The Chechen Wolf.
Oh yeah.
He beat him bad in the amateurs. Like he beat him bad, and he was on then, and then I beat him. So me and him were like on and off. But he's one of those guys that I'm close with. If I don't have to fight him, I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Right. He's a better asset to
100%.
me than he is an enemy. You know what I'm saying? Like
Wagner's a bad motherfucker. That guy can box.
And he's a bad dude. Yeah, for sure.
So, fun story about Arthur. He was going to come on the podcast one time, but he inboxed me. He said, "Yeah, if I come on, you can't swear." I was like, "Yeah, I can't guarantee you that." So we'll pass on that. I'm sure he's a fantastic guy.
He's a good guy too. He's a very good guy.
I'm sure he's a nice guy, and I wish him all the best. But I can't guarantee you, Arthur, that I'll hold my tongue.
Yeah, no, I couldn't do that either.
And I don't want to offend him either, because I'm guessing, like, from what I hear, he's a very religious guy.
He's very, very religious.
We have a common sponsor, USG, so I do support Arthur, and I wish him all the best. I just think it's a funny story.
No, he's doing really well. He's with Matchroom, or is it Matchroom? Yeah.
I don't know. He's been doing work through the pandemic, though.
Yeah, I think he's with Matchroom Boxing, which is really good. Eddie Hearn.
Good for him. Let's wrap this motherfucker up. Get you out of here. You can go hang out with whoever
Let's
you're
go.
hanging out with. Do you have any sponsors you want to thank?
I actually had, like, one of my sponsors. He just passed. You know, he was my main guy from the beginning. He was just a really good person. He every time I needed something, Brock, what do you need? Let me get you. Let me buy you shirts. You know, make your money off the shirts. Let me do this. Let me do that. So that I just lost him, but rest in peace, Tony. But anyone else is not yet. No sponsors yet. Just Steeltown Boxing and Three Lions.
All right.
I'll
thank my sponsors, and hopefully one of them, or one or two of them, might pick you up, guys. USG Canada, Sovereign Extracts, on it. If you're not on it, get on it at onit.com/TFS podcast. And TKO Beards and Fleshlight. Do you know what a Fleshlight is?
I do.
Do you need one of these before the fight?
No, keep that away from me.
All right, dude. I'll keep it. If you ever want one, I'll send you one, though. Not used. Brand new. Do you have a final message you want to send to Brandon Brewer before this fight?
I hope you're in the gym. I know you probably are. Train hard, because as much as I respect you, when it comes down to that fight, when we're standing across from each other, I don't respect you, and I'm coming to win, and I'll do whatever I got to do that. So,
guys, do not miss this fight. September 11th, Jessie the Rock Wilcox versus Brandon Brewer. It'll be live on a stream where I don't know where the fuck it'll be, but I will post it when I got it. Let's get the fuck out of here, Jesse. You good?
I'm good.
All right, guys, that's the final shot.